Alright YouTube, I'm feeling a little depressed today, so I figured it was the perfect time for this video. It's going to be Overthinking Part 5 or whatever I'm on now. um, so I was driving yesterday and I was listening to the radio, and that song, that Linkin Park song, I don't know what the fuck it's called, it's a new song. It talks about, I drive myself crazy thinking everything's about me. So, it was perfect though, because I talked about how we overthink all the time, and we're almost literally, not in a projected sense, but in our minds we're creating this false reality that really doesn't exist. So he talks about this. He says this line in the song, I drive myself crazy thinking everything's about me. So when you're an overthinker, when you're overthinking things, you tend to get yourself into situations that have never existed or never will exist, potentially. So you think about how people perceive you. If you hear a group of people laughing, there's like, it's not conscious, but something's triggered in your head, thinking that they're laughing about you. What am I doing wrong, or something like that? And 9.9 times out of 10, they're just laughing because they're having a good time. But we sit here and overthink things so much, and we're like always so we're now in a highly defensive mode all the time, that thoughts like that just come up, because that's part of our reality. They say you can't know what you don't know, okay? Which basically means, if the thought has never occurred to you, if you've never heard it before, then it's not part of your reality, part of your mind. It's hard to explain. I don't really have a good example for it, but yeah. So when you're thinking about certain things all the time, even if they don't exist, they become real to you. They become part of the way you think, part of the way you feel, part of the way you perceive life. Um, so yeah, uh, I guess give me 1 second here. Yeah, so I'll segue into I guess the applications this has on our life now. Also, while I was driving yesterday, I'm driving behind all these people, and they're very skittish on their brakes and everything. And my roommate, every time I go somewhere with him, he's always bitching about the drivers in front of him, and he's like that guy that's always on everybody's ass and cutting everybody off and everything. Now myself, I'm very chill on the road. I pretty much do a speed limit, because I'm never in a hurry, and that just adds more unnecessary stress to your life. Like, what are you even in a rush to go do? Sit at home and fucking eat Doritos and watch TV? Like, who cares? If you're going to work, whatever. Um, but it brought a thought to mind too. He's the kind of guy who's always fucking tense. He's always on edge. He's got to be depressed beyond all hell. Um, and But the point it brought to mind, though, is that he's always on this edge. He's always tense. And I was thinking about it literally, because when you're a driver, if you're kind of a timid driver, you're very tense on the wheel. Your body is not loose. When you take a turn, you feel like the turn is too hard. But if you just sat back in the car, you just relaxed a little bit, you'd feel that the car's actually got a lot more to it than you're feeling. You're not about to slide out or something. You could actually take that turn way faster if you wanted to. But when we're real tense like that, our we have this connection with the car because we're driving it. And when your body is tensed up, when because your mind is tense, um, it feels a lot more reckless. It feels like something's gonna happen. Now, that sounds like a tangent, but it has applications here. It's analogous to how we live life. If we're always fucking tense like that, because maybe we're overthinking or we're worrying about something, then everything's going to seem out of control, or um, like we're right on the edge of something going wrong. But if you just sat back and relaxed, if you stopped thinking so much about it, maybe you need to fucking start smoking weed. I don't know. Meditate would be my first answer, but most people don't even really understand what that means, which is fine. That's okay. If you're interested, though, you should definitely try it. But yeah, relax. Like, stop the overthinking. I know a lot of people say I can't help it. I just read a girl's post on Facebook today that said, like, I need to get a second job because when I'm not working or busy doing something, then my mind starts going crazy. Filling your day, though, with shit is not the answer. Absolutely not. Hiding from your mind is absolutely not the answer. And, controlling your mind is also not the perceived answer. That's not really possible to do. But that's not what you want to try to do anyways, because you're just putting resistance against the problem. It's kind of like feeding the flames, I suppose. In meditation and Buddhism, they talk about resistance, and that it just makes the problem worse, basically. So yeah, that's not the answer, though, is to busy your life even more, because then you're gonna wake up one day, middle aged, or retirement age or whatever, and you're just gonna sit back like, damn, I fucking wasted my life. I feel like that now almost. Uh, a little aside, the last couple days, something's been going on with me, which is fine. I understand that negative emotions are just kind of part of life, and we have to accept that they happen. It still doesn't feel good, though, and I'm just laying there, and I'm thinking, like, fuck, man, like, I'm tired of being alive. I'm tired of living. It's not like I don't want to kill myself or anything, but if something happened, I would be totally cool with it. Like, whatever. Life feels like such a dead end right now. There's so much corruption in the world, and like, it really does feel like, just everything and everybody's out to get you. Like we can't make good friends. They're hard to find because people are so, like, fucking boxed up, and people are afraid to be vulnerable. So actually put themselves out there and be their true self. They say that you should always offer your true self to somebody, and if they like you, then you have a friendship or relationship, and if they don't, then that's fine. But we don't do that. And it sucks, man. It fucking sucks. I'm very alone in my mindset here in the world. I assume. Probably just because I don't put my own self out there, though, to like meet these kind of people. But anyways, that's just an aside. I'll pause for a second. Right. So the kind of third part of this video, um, how this relates in life. Okay, so everywhere in the States, at least, drug addiction is fucking rampant. A lot of it's opioid or opiate use or heroin, pills, whatever. Um, and it's fucking insane right now. It's massive. It's a huge epidemic. Sorry. Um, and uh, nobody really knows why. Like, why does somebody do drugs? Why does somebody, like, choose to be an addict? And it's not that you choose it, but why even fucking do heroin in the first place? No, I did it. I was an addict myself, but I'm not now. Um, but there's a systemic problem. Why people are, becoming drug addicts at such an alarming rate now. Why people are choosing to use drugs, and it's not because they're bad people or anything. It's because we're lacking that fucking closeness. We're lacking, like, any kind of bond to other people. And, like, a lot of people say that they don't need anybody, but that's a fucking lie. I mean, we absolutely need people. Humans will die without human connection or without any kind of closeness. If you were to put somebody, um, by themselves, forever, they would die. They did experiments with babies, if they didn't have enough contact, within their newborn months or whatever. I'm not sure, how long it was, but these babies died though because they didn't have connection. They had all the food and everything they wanted, but they were lacking that human component, and they died. They may have, like, on a spirit level chose to die, because what is this life? What's the point here? But anyways, so yeah, it's a systemic problem. Now they say, uh, from my own personal experience, the drugs kind of give you that closeness. The part in the brain that is activated supposedly when you use these drugs, heroin and opiates, is the same part of the brain that is involved with feelings of love, of closeness. So you're literally getting that closeness from the drug because you don't get it in real life. And people are like almost legitimately falling in love with the drug, which is fucking crazy. Like, it's such an elemental component of life. Is just like relationships. Not even like, not even like, I, I can't fucking ever think of the words I need. Like, boyfriend and girlfriends have a relationship. It's just like human closeness, friendship, bonds, real fucking tangible friendships. They're so lacking in this world now, it's insane, and that's, getting people into these things. That's why people are so depressed right now, and, just so have such a bad outlook on life and are lashing out on Facebook at people over like nothing. Um, it's wild. But this is all kind of comes back to this component of, overthinking, and we're so overstimulated by technology we use, by being on the computer, being on, our cell phones all the time. So what do you do when you get bored? You fucking pick your phone up and you like start switching through the same 3 or 4 apps back and forth, endlessly for fucking hours. And that's basically the same on the mind as overthinking. It's stimuli from an outside source. So the reverse of that would be meditation. It would be bringing your attention back into your body, into yourself. And then, it's like the girl who said, I need another job because, I think too much. Basically the same thing with the phone, though. The cure, so to speak, is to bring your attention back to the mind instead of trying to hide from it. Actually going back within your psyche, and you can't think your way out of the problem, though. That's kind of where people get caught up with this, like, I don't know, you could call it spiritual stuff. Yeah, that's where they get caught up, though. You can't think your way out of the problem. You do have to kind of like, accept whatever happened to you, or any kind of like trauma you might have, and get over it. But you can't think your way into happiness. You have to feel your way into happiness. I'm pretty sure I brought up in another video about how the heart has its own neurons, and they send messages to the brain. The human heart's got the capacity, I guess you could say, like, it's not thinking, but I can't fucking think of the words right now. I drank this Nos and I'm like all scatterbrained now. But it's got like the capacity of like an animal's brain, like a small dog's brain or something. So it's actually it sends more messages to the brain than the brain does to the heart. The only thing the heart gets is pump, pump, pump. But the heart is actually sending signals to the brain to produce certain chemicals, for different reasons. That feeling when you get the excitement and your chest expands and everything, you feel the butterflies. Those are messages that are then being sent chemically to the brain, and makes you happy and whatnot. Why did I even bring that up? Oh yeah, because you can't think your way out of a problem. You just have to feel it. You have to go in and you just have to get a fucking closeness with yourself. They say that you must love yourself, before you can actually love somebody else. But if you're always seeking outside stimuli, this or the computer or something like that, or food or porn or whatever, drugs, um, you're just hiding from yourself. You're taking your attention and intention away from your mind, away from your body, away from your feelings, emotions, and you're putting it somewhere else, and that is not ever going to work ever. It basically just prolongs the problem, and it gets worse over time. So yeah, that's it, I suppose. Once again, a rant. You probably didn't get anything out of it. If you did, that's great. But I feel better now, so I guess that's the point. All right.